I went to Norway's first FIG parkour event so that you don't have to, and I can tell you my experience and my opinion with a little bit of a backstory, so buckle up. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dominic, and I'm a parkour athlete with 20 years of experience. And for the last 10 years, 10 plus years, I've been heavily involved in the parkour community in Norway, running a team of my friends called Team Exio, and now a business Exio Flow Parks. Basically, working hard to promote parkour as a sport and activity for everyone, trying to make it affordable and attainable and popular in this country, organizing multiple events, competitions, being on television, spreading the word of parkour, basically, trying to grow the sport. And this Saturday, I was at the parkour competition organized by a gymnastics federation. It was called Ask It Open, and here are my thoughts. To say the positive things first and just get it out of the way is that firstly, I want to give a huge credit to all the kids who participated. You guys are awesome, and it was fun to watch you. I was really happy to see not so many like slip-ups and injuries happening. I was terrified that a lot of kids are going to get injured because of the way this is organized and the setup that you chose to have and all of this. So credits to the kids. By no means I want to shame anyone for joining this, especially if you're a kid who just started parkour a few years ago and have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. But we are basically a street culture urban sport that is now trying to be governed by a gymnastics federation, and the cultural difference is so evident in this case, and a lot of people around the world agree that they are not doing a great job trying to incorporate parkour into FIG. So Unc Dominic is going to give you a little bit of a history lesson from FIG involvements in parkour. I'm going to try and cut it short and angle it from a Norwegian scene perspective. So firstly, I'm doing this video in English because a lot of people who reacted to my Instagram story, they don't speak Norwegian. So I'm going to do this in English and put Norwegian subtitles over here. And yeah, let's jump into it. So me personally, I organized the first parkour jam in Norway, as far as I know, in 2012 or 13, and have been organizing parkour events and have participated to most parkour events that were available here in the country. And one of them happens to be Oslo Movement Gathering, which at first was in Vikewin's gym in Oslo. And during that event, we scheduled a meeting with NGTF as soon as we found out that they want to include parkour as a gymnastic discipline. And the meeting was kind of weird and strange, and it sounded like a lot of fake promises, and it sounded a lot like we were talked to like children by adults who were explaining to us like how we need them, and without them we cannot go anywhere, and that they are here to help us and empower us, where knowing in the back of our heads it didn't feel honest and genuine. So we have expressed a lot of skepticism and a lot of critique during that meeting. And then we just agreed to disagree and agreed to kind of carry on the conversation. And shortly after, NGTF, the Norwegian Gymnastics Federation, makes a statement, press release, saying that the parkour community is very enthusiastic for NGTF's involvement in parkour and very supportive, with some mild criticism, but they are generally on board, which was totally not true. We were totally against it, and we wanted answers that they couldn't provide us. And this is how the relationship started, basically. So it's not looking good. If you have that as your foundation, whatever you're going to build on top of it is going to be shaky, and that's what we're experiencing right now. And we were told from the jump that they are in this to help us, to empower our community, to help us grow, because they have the stability, the structure, the facilities and the experience and all that. But all we have seen so far from them up until this very competition that happened last Saturday was a bunch of poorly organized events and workshops where they have, for some reason, a bunch of trickers trying to coach parkour to other gymnasts and other people who want to become parkour coaches without actually ever training parkour properly and being parkour athletes. So it never made any sense to me. Like, how could I, as a parkour coach, suddenly now claim to be a coach in climbing, where I have climbed a couple of times, but I'm very bad at climbing, and I by no means am qualified to teach anyone climbing, let alone teach future coaches. But that's what they've been doing. And on these events, whenever there was a parkour athlete who shows up, who actually knows parkour, knows all the techniques, the terminology, knows the culture, understands parkour for what it is, they were always like almost welcomed, as in like, hey, do you want to take over this course? Which, by the way, cost a lot of money. So it was always bizarre. And what they have done now is just they outdid themselves, because from what I've been hearing, that they wanted from the jump to organize national championships in Norway, which, by the way, completely contradicts their statements about their intentions with parkour. They say to even to me in emails that they by no means want to own parkour or claim parkour, but they just want to help and support it. But at the same time, in the same email, I'm finding out that they want to do national championships, which is just contradicts itself in one sentence, basically, in one breath. And what they did this weekend is they organized a competition that had 70 kids and one adult from Norway who competed. They had a senior category for 16 plus, and they had a 16-year-old kid and one Norwegian guy who was an adult, and they invited one guy from FIG Parkour in Germany who came to compete with them, I guess for the sake of being able to call it an international competition. And my biggest issue with this comp was that it just felt extremely unauthentic. It didn't feel like a parkour competition, and it felt more like a gymnastics event for kids that they do at the end of the year, you know, for Christmas. And the kids are showing up and they walk in circles and the parents are clapping, and you can buy some lottery tickets and some food, and it costs to join that. And they make a little bit of money before the Christmas holidays. That's basically how it felt. The competition was poorly organized and very poorly governed, because let's say there are 3 judges judging this parkour competition and 2 MCs talking through the microphone to the public, like explaining what parkour is, who they are, introducing each other as legends within parkour and free running and tricking world, while at the same time never actually training parkour, and not even knowing basic name of parkour moves and tricks. So none of these 5 people, 3 coaches and 2 MCs, none of them are actual parkour athletes. Let me start by saying this. 2 judges are gymnasts and 1 judge is a tricker who kind of dipped his toes in the world of free running, but I've never seen any clip of him training outside and doing what every parkour athlete is doing. So yeah, the commentary was very bad. The way that the competition was feeling like was very dishonest. There was a lot of things that were said during the opening ceremony which were basically like untrue, and it feels like it has a lot of fake it till you make it aspect to it. We just, like, parkour people and parkour culture has a very high radar and detecting bullshit, and this just felt like bullshit. I'm sorry to put it this way, but that's how it felt. When you speak about the enormous expertise among the organizers, and none of the organizers are parkour people, like, what competence are you talking about? It's just very strange. It's just dishonest, you know. It's not real, it's not true. And parkour people are very real people. We come from a street culture. We are deeply rooted in some strong values, and these values I've seen throughout my 20 years of training not fading away. And there were many things that were supposed to destroy parkour, including just the competition itself as a concept, but none of them managed to destroy parkour. But I think FIG's involvement in parkour has the highest potential of destroying the soul of our sport, basically, because it's just so fake and so weird and so rigid. So it's just it looks like and feels like AI generated parkour competition, basically. ChatGPT wrote the script and it's just being played out in real life. So, and mind you, I would never be so negative about this. Generally speaking, I'm the opposite of a negative person. I hate confrontation, I hate drama. I have a lot of love for everyone I meet, and especially everyone with the parkour community. Most of my best friends are parkour people, and I love this sport so much. But just when someone tries to stick their fingers into our sport and claim it and want to govern it and want to capitalize on it, I get really radicalized and triggered, and I cannot stand without doing anything. So I'm gonna make big efforts in fighting this. Maybe not directly fighting this, but like creating a better opportunities and educating people. So I hope that this video is the first step to better understanding of what's actually happening. Because I wouldn't have such a problem with NGTF's involvement if all they did was like parkour classes in their gyms and they would send their kids to parkour events. There could be potential for a common ground, and I have to say, for example, in Askir, because they hired 2 very good parkour coaches who are actual parkour people. One of them is my teammate and one of my best friends. These kids are getting crazy progression because they had a lot of access to really good gymnastics facility with foam pits, bars over foam pits, trampolines, a bunch of blocks. So they have been developing like crazy, and they're on crazy level. So there could be good coming from this, but I don't think it will, because of the way that we are treated as parkour athletes and because of the disrespect that we're getting. And the dialogue with the Gymnastics Federation have always been very one-sided, and they never actually listen to us. Even though they claim that they want feedback, they don't actually want feedback, they want support. And thankfully they're not getting any support, because nobody from the parkour community who is not associated with one of these gymnastics club who send their kids to this event, nobody showed up. So they have Asked Open as this trial event before organizing NM, which is National Norwegian Championships, and nobody is there. So what will they do if they already announced the national championships in April? What will they do if nobody shows up, or just a few people show up and maybe tempted by a low-hanging fruit? Because in order to win that competition, this weekend, it was very low effort. It was a very low hanging fruit, very easy to win this comp. I went ahead and tried a speed run, which was very plain and very basic. There was nothing intricate about it, just kind of running in a straight line almost, back and forth. Classic speed from Fig. Nothing funky, nothing creative or technical about it, just pure meathead running as fast as you can and jumping over some basic vaults. And yeah, I did the fastest time by like over 2 seconds on 3 to 4 hours of sleep and in my jeans, with barely any warm-up. So it just goes to show like how poorly organized and how little authentic this thing is. And again, I wouldn't have that much to say if they didn't have this ambition of organizing NM, the Norwegian Championships, while not having a clue how to treat athletes, how to commentate, how to judge, how to run a parkour event. There was a parkour jam after this event that was paid extra. Like if you competed, you couldn't just stay in there to train. You had to pay extra to stay at the parkour jam. But everyone from NGTF left immediately. Nobody stayed to hang around. They claimed they have interest in our sport and they want to learn about it and they want to meet us. But when there is a chance to meet us, they just disappear. They did their job and they went off. So it's just not looking good. It's like their words are not aligning with their actions, So in my opinion, the whole reason why NGTF and FIG in general is doing this is because of a couple of things. They have a massive decline in attendance in gymnastics. The sport is being less and less popular, and they struggle especially with recruiting boys, which is something that parkour is just excellent at. You announce a parkour class and you have 20, 30, 50 boys lined up to try parkour. So for them, it's an easy way to make money and fill up those spots in female-dominated sport, which is gymnastics. And in my opinion, they also want to make easy money off of it, because in order to compete at this event, which lasted a couple of hours, and you don't really get that much. There is no money prize. There is no prize in general outside of a cheap trophy or a medal. It still cost almost as much as a OMFG ticket, and for anyone who knows what OMFG is, it's the world's biggest and best parkour and free running and tricking festival, where for in my opinion, reasonable price, you get 5 days packed with action. It's like Christmas for parkour athletes. You get to meet elite parkour athletes, you get to hang out with them, train, attend workshops, join competitions in world-class facilities, versus a couple of hours in a gymnastics gym or in a sports hall with a shitty setup. So that just goes to prove that they are not in this to, as they claim, lift our sport and support us and help us grow. We don't need you. That's the point. We don't need gymnastics. We don't need FIG. We don't need NGTF. You need us. And you've been disrespecting us. You've been neglecting us, and you've been misrepresenting us. So my voice and my opinion is that we as parkour community, we need to continue to not show up for them, not help them, just let them expose themselves. Really, we don't need to expose them. They just expose themselves. Their actions speak for themselves. And we have to work together and unite to create better opportunities, more events, more competitions, with actual money prizes, with great vibes, with the parkour spirit in the center, and the parkour values, because that thing is just, it's not real. It's fugazi. Fugazi, it's not real. One thing to it is that they couldn't get any parkour athletes to come from outside and support this thing. So like I said, most people running this were the people in NGTF, mainly trickers and gymnasts, parents of the kids, and parkour coaches who are coaching in gymnastics clubs, who were then kind of forced to join this and support it and work for it, even though not most of them, but all of them are against FIG's involvement in parkour. And I know all of them very well, they're my good friends, and none of them had a good time at the event. Everyone was doing something against their values, against their will, and kind of hating it, honestly. So one of them was crying, came to us saying that this is bullshit. I feel like I'm used. I was agreeing to do a certain set of responsibilities for a certain price, but I'm now pushed to basically work the whole day and doing a lot of stuff that I didn't agree to, and just being put in this position where they felt used. So it's not great. That would never happen in parkour community, at least in Norway. Anytime there is a parkour event, everyone is happy to help, and people are staying longer to help clean up and organize, move things and all of that, because we all share this one love for this sport. And it's obvious, when we were finishing the park in Brumunddal for the first opening, pre-opening in September last year, people were supposed to show up to a finished park, but we weren't finished. We were late, and everyone who came up to the jam pulled up to actually help us and did hard labor helping us, versus the Gymnastics Federation trying their best and messaging multiple times and not getting anyone to agree to join their event. So yeah, to summarize this, because this is already way too long of a video, and I know you guys didn't order a cappuccino, but this is something that I feel really strongly about, and I am almost just sick and tired of thinking about it, talking about it. Now all I want to do is action and create better opportunities. So stay tuned for that. And my message to FIG, my message to NGTF is, please reconsider what you're doing. You are doing something against our will. You're claiming to help us, but we don't want your help. We don't want your involvement. We want you to stay out of our sport. And if you are really so stubborn and you have to do it because of your own personal interests or interests of your federation, please step back, take a few step backs and reconsider, and do not organize national championships, because you will embarrass yourselves. there will be nobody of quality parkour athletes showing up to this, and you will end up having someone totally not worthy of being called Norwegian champion, and it's not gonna look good. It's gonna there is already a lot of stigma on the FIG athletes, and making such an aggressive run at claiming the sport and calling this event national championships makes absolutely no sense. So please reconsider and don't do it. And if you want to really help, start locally and organize some free events, free workshops like parkour people have been doing for years, but you are now sneaking in the queue and trying to claim what we've been building for years, trying to claim it yours and misrepresent it. So yeah, let's keep the dialogue going. Again, my intention is not to disrespect anyone, not to insult anyone. I want to send props to all the parents who are so involved, and they are working hard to help this thing happen. But if you want to help the parkour community, help the parkour community. Do not help a foreign gymnastics federation that has clearly no clue what our sport is about. So this is my message. Thank you for watching this, and let's see what the future brings.